You always make that look so easy when you do that. When I try and do it, it takes me forever.
It's practice. I've been doing it for 25 years, so it's like I'm sure in 25 years you'll find it really easy. No, it's really not very difficult. It's a bit of, you have to do a lot of things that you're doing for the first time, and your muscle memory is not quite there yet, but you'll get there. Right, now, when you cut out complicated shapes like this, and this is not complicated by jewellery standards, but, to start with, this is a shape that's odd and it's not straight, and it's got all kinds of weird little curves and corners. You work your way towards the design, so you go in, right, and then now you're here, and now you have to turn back on yourself. So how do you do that? You can't force the saw sideways because the blade will snap. So what you do is you go up and down on the spot while ever so slightly pulling back, but not much, while you turn your work round, and that way the piercing saw blade cuts itself a little turning circle and turns around without stress. Right, and then when you then start cutting the other shapes, the other round shapes, you basically stay in the same place with your saw, but you move your work around. So the saw always stays in the same place. All you do with your sawing hand, whether it's the left or the right one, doesn't matter. You just go up and down, like an industrial saw. And all you do is with your other hand, you feed the work to your saw blade. And then try.
It looks really easy, that.
It takes a little bit of practice, but that's how it works. That's the only way it works, basically. And then to turn around again, you go up and down on the spot and work and turn your work round until you're back into the direction you want to be in. Make sure that you clean the debris away so you can see what you're doing. And then again, saw stays in the same place and the work moves around. Makes your life a whole lot easier, because if I kept the work still and then sort of tried to do this, I'd get to a point where this is becoming really uncomfortable, yeah? So, and you've got a lot more control doing it like this. And then again, on the spot, work turns round, get rid of the sawdust. And then if you hit the wood, just pull it back a little bit. Again, my right hand is basically, all it does is going up and down. I'm not even pushing forward, I'm just going up and down really, very, very gently. And I'm not putting any pressure on the blade. The blade, if you've got a sharp blade, it will happily eat its way into the metal pretty much by itself. I mean, there comes a point at which the blade breaks anyway, because they do get knackered, but at least it doesn't die prematurely. So again, just moving the work, staying on the spot with the saw. And this technique really allows you to cut any fancy shape or anything you want, whether it's a silhouette of something, whether it's a, I don't know, an animal silhouette or a person silhouette, or I don't know, a cloud, a heart, a flower, whatever. We'll happily cut this. Yeah? So there we are. So there's our little flower. And you can, and because it's been a very, very neat cutting job, you now have got a negative that you could potentially use for something else as well, if you wanted to. You don't have to, but you can. And if you if you now, obviously, you now have got, the edges are not perfect because they've been sewn, but they haven't been filed yet. Sometimes these address labels are quite sticky and you're not easy to get off. If you're lucky, you can just peel them off. Sometimes it doesn't work quite so easily. In the worst case scenario, you just burn them off. You just quickly put the torch over it and it just burns off, and then your metal is clean again. And then, if I wanted to work further on this little guy, what I would do is I would then move on to the needle files. So these are called needle files, the little ones, yeah. And then I find myself a file that sort of fits a little bit into the areas I want to file. So this has got quite narrow little places. So I would probably want to use the triangular one because that's got the sharpest edges. Now, these all have different names. So this is a flat file. You get this with a flat end and this sort of leaf shaped. This, even though it's actually I start with this one because that's a square file because it's got four sides that cut. This triangular one is not called a triangular file, it's called a 3-square. Why? Don't ask me, it's some weird jewellery jargon, but that's what it is. It's a 3-square. So don't be confused, that's what it's called. That's another 3-square, I don't know why we've got 2 in here. And this is a half round one, yeah, so flat on one side, round on the other. We also have completely round ones. They're very good for cleaning out holes, for example. And then we also get some that have got a curve on that side and a slightly flatter curve on the other, which are very useful for certain jobs, and they're called sage leaf because the cross section of it looks a bit like a sage leaf. Anyway, so for this job, I would probably use the 3-square to start with, and just sort of clean these little areas between the petals, and then you can see that already takes out those little turning points that I put in with a saw, and that already looks a lot neater. Yeah. And then when I want to go around the edges to make the edges nice and clean, then I can use a flat one. And also we have got some. You get another type. They're called safety back. They have got a much finer edge, and you can get in between things much easier. And then you can go around the edges here and take those sharp edges off, and basically make the whole thing look a lot more finished. And also you won't end up with these nasty sharp edges anymore. And if you do that around the whole piece, then you end up with quite a nice finish. Yeah. So that's how you cut out and then afterwards refine an odd or a fancy shape. Yeah. Okay, so basically, if you want to, for the people who do